Hi, it's Barb, Maple PhD, and my favorite play for July 2023 is The Loop. The Loop is a cooperative game where players are agents of time running around trying to defeat Dr. Foe by destroying his duplicates and keeping the timeline under control. This is a cooperative game. It has a similar feel to a lot of other cooperative games where, each turn you've got bad things that happen and then players take their turn and then you do some cleanup. But just because it has a similar feel doesn't mean it's the same as all of the other co-op games. In this game, the bad things that happen at the beginning of each round are you add more duplicates to the board. In the early game, you just add 1, but later you're adding 2 and finally 3, and so the board starts to become complete chaos. And then the other thing you're doing is pulling a card from Dr. Foe's deck, which gives you one of the eras of time. So there are 7 different eras of time around the board in a loop. And you will point his machine in that direction, and you will drop some time rifts, these red cubes, into the machine to see where they land. If you ever get 4 or more time rifts in one era, you will cause a vortex in that era. And if you do it a second time in the same era, you lose the game. So you want to keep these time rifts under control as much as possible. And you add more time rifts, the more duplicates that are in Dr. Foe's era that round. So you also want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on those duplicates as well. So then for the player actions, they use cards that are in their hand. These are all face up. Everyone has 3 cards in their hand. And they do things like let you move these duplicates around. If you bring a duplicate to the era where it originated, it will disappear off the board. You'll destroy it, so that's great. You can also move around the board. You can destroy those rifts. You might be able to drop some energy cubes around. Those help people move around the board. They can also help you do what's called a loop. So your cards have this little symbol in the upper corner of it. And if you have an energy that you can spend in your era, you can reuse all of the cards that have the same symbol. And so you're also trying to build your deck so that you have as many of the same symbol as possible so that when you do that loop, you can reuse more than one card because it costs the same amount no matter how many cards you are looping. And you can loop more than once, but it gets more expensive with each time that you do it. And so, that's one of the really cool things about this game is that you're deck building and you're trying to concentrate on those one symbols. And when you get that turn where you can just loop 2 or 3 times and clear out a whole bunch of things from the board, it feels so satisfying. The things that you're trying to do besides getting rid of those duplicates and getting rid of those time rifts are these goals that are defined around the board, and there will be 7 of them. You have to complete 4 of them in order to win the game. This can be things like having an agent on either side of Dr. Foe's era at any time during a turn, or having energy in all of the different regions of the board. That one can be super hard. And it's those types of things, but they're all different, and you'll get a slightly different set each time that you're playing the game. And at any given time, you're working on 2 of them. So we have really enjoyed this game. The way that you work together, the way that you get those turns where you can just loop everything and clear off the board a whole bunch, and those other turns where things are kind of turning bad and not looking great, and you're still just trying to hold on and do everything that you can. This one we brought out this month with some friends. We had played it before. This was our first win, so it was even more satisfying. And I had us play the second scenario, which is slightly harder, but it leaves some permanent energy on the board, and I think in the end it makes it a tiny bit easier, even though it seems harder when you get started. So anyway, we had a great time with this one. That's The Loop, my pick for this month. I hope to see you next month. Have a great month gaming. In the meantime, you can look me up on YouTube as Maple PhD, where I connect board games and astronomy. And I'm also on Instagram and Twitter.